Good morning, friends. Welcome to GoOnlineTrainings.com. So already we understood why DAX is important. I think we have taken the introduction part, but let me, explain once again. So why DAX means to enhance the data model, to create a new information, right? So as I told you, if somebody gives the data, for example, I have some data in multiple tables, and using these tables, we can create 80% of the customer reports. Okay. But remaining 20% of the reports, you need to create using new information. So, okay, I have to create some new columns or new aggregations or new measures using the new information. I should be able to create some 20% of the reports. That is what is called enhancing the data model. So existing data is not sufficient. You need to create a new information using existing information. So DAX can be implemented using three ways. One is that create a new column. So that is one thing where it is going to be storing the data in the RAM, need to have the RAM space. This is the disadvantage. That is one thing. The second one is called create a new measure, new aggregations where you are going to be creating a formulas. For example, I have 10, 20, 30, and 40 I have. So I can get what is the total. So how do you get the total? There is a sum it is going to be taking. But I want to take first value and last value, do the summing operation. So first value and last value, automatically you will not be able to take. You need to write your own formula. If you wanted to write own formula, that is where you're going to be, creating a measure. Measure is a formula. Remember, measure is a formula. It is not going to be taking any space from the RAM. So new column, when we're talking about a new column, for example, I have a salary column. So using the salary, I have to derive a tax. I have to derive a tax. So this is where I'm going to be, getting a new column here. So that is the need for the new column. But if I wanted to get what is the value of first, and last student, so that is what is called, I have to create a formula. So formula means a measure. So measure is not going to be, taking any space from the RAM. So we also use DAX queries. Sometimes we create a new table. You create a new column with the help of a DAX. We create a new measure with the help of a DAX. We also create a new table. This is very, very important interview question. We'll discuss about this when you create a new table and everything. Okay. So today, let us talk about a couple of examples, when you're going to be using a new column. So I wanted to quickly take Open Power BI. I wanted to just take employee data set. Let me close this, and I wanted to go to get data. I wanted to use employee data set. I wanted to take department table and employee table, load the data. Now, as soon as you load the data, you need to check whether data modeling is done perfectly or not. You need to also check whether it is one to M or one to one or one to many. And you need to also ask the business justification. Is it true or false? Department table to employee table, it is one to M, whether it is correct or not. If you're a architect level, because normally junior level people don't see this, but if you wanted to create a new data set, go on yourself, means you need to have a clue how the department table and employee table is on. So it's going to be 1 to M as per this data. So you need to cross check with your, the team once again, with your team leads or SSEs or with your client. So I have the data modeling of two tables only. So you can see when you double click on this, you will be able to understand many to one. So wherever there is a foreign key, that table will be the first table in the data modeling. So, and you have a primary key table, it is, M to 1. Now, when you go there, you have some data, and in the employee table, you have some more data. If I wanted to create a tax column, I don't have the tax, but the customer wanted to have the tax, or customer wanted to have salary plus bonus. I need to create a new column here. So to create a new column, normally we're going to be using what? DAX formula. So where we need to go? First, you need to click on this, step number 1. Step number 2, you need to go to this. Step number 3. So this is where you're going to be creating DAX formulas, right? So step number 1, you go to the data set. Step number 2, you need to click on this. Step number 3, so this is where quick measure we'll talk about later. So you create a new column, or you create a new measure, or you create a new table. It's very, very important where exactly we're going to be using new table, where exactly we're going to be using new column. So for the new column and new table, space is required, okay, because these are occupying the RAM space. But whereas a new measure, it is completely a formula, no space is required. Very, very important into the equation. No space is required. New measure means aggregation. Aggregation means a formula, right? No space is required. Whereas new column, new table, these are going to be occupying the space in the RAM. Maximum we can store 10 GB of data. If you have more than that, definitely new column, new table, everything is going to be failing. Okay. Now, this is one place we can create. The other place you can also create when you go to the data modeling, data report view, you can click on this. You can go here. So here also you should be able to create calculations, but how only new measures you can create. So new measures or quick measures, you cannot create a new table. You cannot create a new column also. Any kind of a formula you should be able to write with the help of this data set. So DAX can be created not only in this, but also you will be able to create in this. So calculation means writing some kind of a formulas, right? That is what is important. So creating calculation using the DAX is always will be the highest risk. Performance will be low here. So if you could achieve the same thing with the help of a Power Query, the better you should be able to go and create in the Power Query. If not, there is again chance using a DAX, you should be able to come and create here. So that is also we discussed in the previous classes, because DAX calculations always will take a lot of time. If you could create the same thing with the help of a Power Query, so that will be always better, because after loading the data, you're going to be creating a lot of formulas and everything. It is going to be executing then and there. Whenever you're executing then and there, it'll take a lot of time. But whereas Power Query, it will load the data. When you click on close and apply, all the data will be taking, and it is going to be applying all the formulas, and all the results also will be loaded into the RAM. So Power Query will be always faster when you compare the calculations creating the DAX formulas. Okay, so this is what is one more performance tip that you need to know, right? So now if I wanted to create a new column, I would like to know salary plus bonus. I don't have the net salary. So click on this first, go to this step number 2, go to new measurements formula. I need to create a new column here. So new column, it will occupy the space. Now I wanted to give, so you can just click on this, then you simply press control and scroll up. When you scroll up, control plus scroll up, you will be able to get a column. So now I wanted to get net salary, right? Net salary is equivalent to simply salary plus I wanted to have the bonus. So, and press enter. So this is what is called a DAX formula. Now you tell me it is simply, a mathematical expression, right? EC equals to A plus B. Is there any complexity in this? There is no complexity. And you write uppercase, lowercase, doesn't matter, because DAX is not a case sensitive language. DAX is not a case sensitive language. Uppercase, lowercase doesn't matter. For example, I wanted to make it to small b, but it is, capital B, right? I wanted to use like this. Now, yeah, I have covered this because again, I wanted to reiterate this because people would have forgotten this, right? Because after that, we started data modeling. Thank you, Moin. Okay, so this is what you need to understand. Uppercase, lowercase doesn't matter. It is going to be working fine. Clear? Now, if you ask me what is a DAX, if you ask me what is a DAX, DAX is a new language created by the Microsoft. This is going to be used, so in Power BI and even Excel, we have a Power Pivot. DAX can be used there also, and DAX can be used in Power BI, Power Pit. In this also, DAX also can be used in SSAS, tabular model cube, where if you wanted to write some formulas, you should be able to use the DAX. DAX means data analytical expressions, which is simply a functional language. Lot of functions we're going to be using. With the help of the function, we will be able to create lot of new formulas, new aggregations, new columns we can create. That is what you got to understand. Now, so create a calculation. So DAX is a functional language. Existing column, constants, DAX functions, operators, all of them. We can have calculations are done for each row. Space is needed in the RAM, especially for the table and the column. So I wanted to have calculations, aggregations. So new tables, bad for the performance solution. Implement the same in Power Query always, and it will give you good performance in the Power Query over DAX. Now, I wanted to tell you a few more things. For example, I wanted to know this example also we have given, right? So when you have employee table, I wanted to rename this, right? So before renaming, you can see net salary, you will be able to see it here, right? So I'm going to be taking employees salary plus employees bonus. Now, if the table contains a space, I wanted to go and rename this employee info. I'm just renaming the table. So I have renamed the table. When you have the space in between employee space info, when you go to your DAX, you are going to be seeing a quotation colon here. Have you seen this? A small quote will be there. If there is a space in between, automatically, DAX is going to be having a single quote in the table. So that is what you need to understand. If there is no space, there is no problem. You need not have the single quotation over there. So that is what you need to understand. So that is the use single quote when you have when table contains a space. Orders, space sales means you need to have the single quotes. Now, these are important. These features in the DAX, new column, new measure. When we need a calculation on every row, we're going to be using new column, new measure. When we need an aggregation, so the formula. For example, I wanted to know percentages or ratios or aggregations. You wanted to create any kind of a formula, that is where we're going to be having a new measure. Measures are two types. One is called implicit measure. The second one is called explicit measure. I wanted to simply go and drag and drop some values over there. Okay, I wanted to just enlarge the screen, actual says, but in the real time, you don't change this to this. Okay, you are going to be using fit to page only. So to increase the size, I'm going to be using that. So click on this. Now I wanted to know what is the total salary, right? I wanted to have the total salary. So go here. I wanted to have the borders and everything. Now this is what is called total salary I'm talking about. Now Control C and Control V, go and remove this and drag and drop, or simply check this button. Automatically you will be able to get this one. And I wanted to get salary plus bonus. Salary plus bonus, you can also get it. with the help of Control C and Control V and remove this, I'm going to be simply placing, click on this, automatically you will be able to get this. So this plus this can be here. So if you go and check, automatically there is a sum is automatically taken. Have you seen this? Now it is what is called implicit. Okay, we are talking about implicit measure means automatically there is a formula taken. When you click on this, when you go, there is automatically a aggregation is taken. So these are called as implicit measure. This is also called as a implicit measure. This is also called as an implicit measure. Okay. So I'm going to be simply taking this value automatically, which is going to be having the sum operation. Why it is taking sum? When you click on this, so my summarization, it is going to be sum here. So when you change it to average, when you say change it to average, now when you drag and drop this, now it is going to be average by default. So what is the default aggregation? How do you define a default aggregation? Means you need to go to that value, that column, and by default, you can see what is that it is going to be containing. It is going to be containing average or a sum, or don't summarize, whatever you wanted to do, that you can have it there. So by default, it is going to be having implicit measure. Some operation is going to be taking. So based on that, the calculations and everything will be done. Now, Suresh is asking, sometimes year column also will be calculated. Please tell me how to remove that. So yeah, not only that, for example, employee ID we have. So as soon as you see, so any number column, if the Power BI sees, it sees that it is a calculated column. What is a number column where I need to perform the aggregations, right? So this is actually, it is not a measurable column. It is a dimension column. Dimension means a textual data. Even though it is a number column, we should not aggregate the data. So if you wanted to remove these sums on the unwanted columns, where you need to go? You need to click on this. Now you will see there is a counting operation is happening here. You need to just click on this and say, don't summarize this data. Because whenever it sees any numbered column, it is going to be giving you a aggregation, because so it thinks that it is a measure. It is not a measure where we are not going to be using this employee ID or a department ID column here. So department ID column is not at all, having this, because department ID is used for the relationship. So if it is relationships column, it knows that it is a primary key, foreign key column. It has removed. But whereas employee ID, it does not have any clue whether it is a primary key or foreign key, or whether it is a relationship column. So it thinks that it is a normal column. It has applied. So you need to just go there and click on this and say, don't summarize. This is the way you have to do it. Okay. And for this column, if you wanted to apply currency symbols, where you need to go? Simply go and click on this currency symbols in the here itself. Okay. Whenever you drag and drop something, you will be able to get the symbol which assigned to this column, right? So now I wanted to just go there and apply Indian rupees to this. So where is that? So I have some Gujarati rupees, wherever the salary is there. So automatically you will be able to get this. Now you should not apply the currencies here. You need to go to that column, click on the bonus column here. Now you will be able to see this one. You need to apply the currency over there. So simply click on this. No, not here. You need to click on the net salary. Click on the net salary, which is a DAX, right? So it is, even though it is a DAX formula, still you should be able to perform these operations on the DAX columns as well. So this is what is called part of your data modeling and creating a data set. So what kind of an aggregations we need to create, what kind of a formulas we need to create, what kind of a, the currency symbols I must use it, how many decimals point I need to use it. So for example, bonus. So customer will say, don't show any decimals, or show only 0 decimals, or show, 10 decimals, whatever you want to have, that you can, it is by default showing 2 decimals. You can make it to 0. So whatever you wanted to have, you should be able to just go there, and where you wanted to put the comma. So that is also there. Whether you need the comma or you don't need the comma when you have, uh, million separation, 1,000 separation, or you wanted to show this data in the, not in the millions, right? So by default, when you go, you will be able to go to the values, and you will be able to see display units is auto, none, thousands, millions, billions, and trillions. But the customer wanted to see in the lakhs or the crores. So if the customer wanted to see in their own decimals, means you need to create your own DAX formulas. If it is, more than 1 lakh, convert into more than 100,000, convert into lakhs. You need to write that kind of a formulas, that I will show you how to convert, how to show this data into lakhs and crores. That is also we'll discuss later, and we'll display. So that is what a explicit, implicitly, when you drag and drop a sum, when you drag and drop a measure, automatically sum is happening. But I wanted to go net salary. There's a space it is going to be taking, and I wanted to know salary. How do you get the grand net salary, or the total of this salary? So as soon as you drag and drop the salary, automatically, implicitly, this guy is performing the sum operation. So when you have a large amount of data, and if you have a millions and billions of data, this measure is going to be taking a lot of time to summarize. Clear? So now I have only 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 rows. I will be able to get the totals very, very quickly. But if you have large amount of data, this summary operation will take a lot of time. That is for sure. Because sum operation will take a lot of time, because when you have a large amount of data, Power BI cannot handle very, very quickly. Your reports will become slow. Okay, people will say, whenever I wanted to open my report, now the sums are taking a lot of time. Do something for my report. That is one request will come suddenly. Okay, now where is the data? Data is coming from your data warehousing or Excel sheets. We don't know. So you may get the data from the data warehouse, or you may get the data from Excel. So for some source, you will be able to get the data. Now, directly you're going to be taking the data, showing the data in the Power BI. So you have 10 and 20, but in the Power BI, I need to show 30. So who's going to be doing this, aggregation? Either data warehouse take these numbers, it has to do it, or you get the raw data here, Power BI has to do it. Now, according to us, Power BI is going to be performing a sum. So who's going to be doing the summing operation? Power BI is going to be doing. Now, 10 and 20 will be given by data warehouse or Excel to the Power BI. Now, Power BI will take 10 plus 20 plus 30. It has to do the aggregation. Now, this will become slow. Your reports will become slow. So then that is when the people will say, your reports are very, very good, performance wise, very, very bad. I don't want to use your Power BI application. I don't want to use this data analytics application. For example, I wanted to know what is the weather condition in Hyderabad. I have installed a beautiful application, right? Weather monitoring application in my mobile phone. Now, whenever I click on the weather monitoring application, it is taking 5 minutes to give me weather condition is in Hyderabad in India. So do you think that you're going to be using that mobile app? Immediately within 2 minutes, you will uninstall. Why? Even though the application is given by Microsoft or Google or IIT people or number one, richest people in this world, they have made this application and released. But are you going to be using it? You're completely, unhappy with this kind of application, because it's going to be taking a lot of time. So when you have a large amount of data, you get the raw data and you're going to be doing the summing operation, means Power BI will become slow. Reporting will become slow. Remember, to increase the reporting, so data warehouse will store the data. You will have one more guy called SSAS. This guy is going to be doing summing operations. Okay, this will store the raw data. 10 and 20 will be stored, and this guy will come and he will aggregate the data. Now this guy will give 30 to directly to Power BI. Power BI is not going to be doing any sum operation. Power BI is going to be simply giving, simply displaying. So SSAS, why SSAS is needed? SSAS is going to be doing one extra activity that Power BI is doing now. So that, activity will come here. For example, you're peeling the potato, I am cutting the potato, someone is doing something. There are three people. One guy is peeling the potato and cutting also, that guy, it will take a lot of time. So what normally we distribute the work. So you peel the potato, one guy is peeling the potato, second guy is cleaning the potato and cutting it, third guy is taking the potato and preparing the dishes. Now what happens when you have in between one more guy? It will be faster. Otherwise, one guy is peeling and the second guy is cutting and cooking. Cutting and cooking means the third guy, maybe a chef, it will take a lot of time. So when you add one more guy means one more application. When you add, what will happen? This application will do a lot of other work, so that there is no burden to this fellow. This guy is peeling the data or storing the data. This guy is showing the data. This guy is aggregating the data. So there are three people, they're doing the work. That is what you need to understand. So now you clearly understood what is the need for SSAS, SQL Server Analysis Services. What is the need? So need is to increase the performance of the reporting or data analytics. Reports are faster. When you have SSAS, what will happen? Reports will become faster. That is the need for SSAS cube, compulsory in interview question. Okay, so why SSAS in between? I have the data here, I have a Power BI here, or any reporting tool, need not be Power BI. Tomorrow you take Excel, or tomorrow you may take a Tableau. Tableau is a reporting tool, or you may take a SSRS, any reporting tool you can have. When you take the data directly from the data warehouse and give it to the SSRS or reporting tools, means your applications will become very, very slow. Why? It has to read the data, aggregate the data, show the totals, because we are not going to be showing the raw data in the reports. We're going to be showing what kind of a data? Aggregated data. Even though your data warehouse will have a 10 billions of data, I don't show 10 billion of data. I will only show one row. The row will tell you what is the total sales. Clear? So even though you have a 20 billion data, 30 billion data, 100 terabytes of data, 100 terabytes of data, you're not going to be displaying in this, right? You are going to be aggregating the 100 terabytes of data. You may get one or two rows. You wanted to display top 5 brands wise sales. So how many rows you are going to be having? Even though you have 100 bytes of data, Power BI is going to be storing only displaying the 5 rows, top 5 brands and its sales. So, but to aggregate this much of a data, Power BI will take a lot of time, right? Power BI will take a lot of time. For example, I wanted to prepare a Maggi noodles. I'll take 2 minutes. There is no problem at all. But I wanted to prepare a lot of items, and can I complete everything in 2 minutes? So you cannot compare small data and small aggregations, and large amount of data, lots of aggregations, right? I wanted to have what is the total sales. I would like to display in one more chart. I would like to display top 5 brands and sales in one more visualization. I wanted to display country-wise sales in one more visualization. I'm going to be displaying state-wise, year-wise sales like that. So how many aggregations I'm going to be doing? A lot of aggregations, right? So each and every aggregation will be done by the SSAS, and it is going to be keeping it ready. If that is there, so what is advantage? When you go to the hotel and you order the food, food will be given within 2 minutes, right? Because it is already prepared, right? But if the food is not prepared, chef is going to be taking 30 minutes of time. Then tomorrow you will say this hotel is good, but these people will take a lot of time. Why? Because that is not at all ready. They have the raw material. When you order, that time only they're going to be preparing the food. It will take 20-30 minutes, but you will get bored, right? So all the aggregations are going to be prepared and kept ready. When you click on a visualization, that is going to be automatically taking and displaying the data over there. So how you will be seeing in the SSAS. So what is the purpose of SSAS? Means to increase the data analytics performance or reporting will be faster. Very, very, very important interview question. People may ask you, did you work on SSAS? So why SSAS means what? Why SSAS means it is it contains, okay, it contains pre-aggregated data. It contains what, Nana? Pre-aggregated data. Aggregated data. So what data warehouse will contain? Data warehouse contains raw data. Raw data means 10 and 20. Cube or SSAS. Cube means SSAS will contain what? Aggregated data. Aggregated means total. So 30. Clear? And it is going to be containing not only sums, it is going to be containing what is the minimum value, what is the maximum value. Lot of things it's going to be containing. Okay. So what is the total now? 35. And it is going to be saying this is the sum. It will tell you what is the minimum. Minimum is the 5. That is also one aggregation. What is the maximum? Maximum is also going to be storing. So whatever you wanted to have, all the calculations going to be, there. And reporting, any report you take, it is going to be displaying whatever you need. If you have a billions of data and finding out a minimum is not a simple joke, right? Find out a maximum is not a simple task. When you have a billions of data, who's big, who's small is not very simple. So automatically this guy would have done that, a task, and he would have stored the final aggregation. So tomorrow, if the data changes here, for example, tomorrow you load the data like this. When you load the data, you have to refresh this. When you refresh, what will happen? So 35 plus 5, it will become 40. Now, what is the minimum value? Minimum value will become 2. The maximum value will become 20. Only you need to refresh. The values will change. Again, you need to go and report. You need to refresh. The data values also will change over there. It is only going to display. Otherwise, if this guy is not there, this guy has to perform aggregations, plus this guy has to display. So this is extra activity the reporting is going to be handling. Because of that, reporting will become slow. Okay, reporting will become what? Slow. Your data analytics application will become slow. So that is the reason why in between, even though you have a raw data, even though you have a report here, in between we're going to be using one more guy. The guy is called SSAS, or we're going to be calling as a analysis services, which is going to be simply aggregating, means doing this kind of an extra circus. Am I clear? It contains pre-aggregated data. Because of that, what is the benefit? Reporting is faster. That's it. Only these 2 points you need to say. It is going to be, it contains pre-aggregated data. So this is the raw data. Data warehouse is going to be containing raw data. And this is going to be containing what? Aggregated data. So because of this SSAS, what's going to be happening? Reporting is need not to worry about these aggregations and everything. It will become very, very faster. Clear? So data analytical application will become faster when you have a cube, right? But when you have a small data, it doesn't matter. When you have a small data, this can handle it, but when you have a large amount of data, without SSAS, nothing can happen. So did you understand what is the need for SSAS? It contains pre-aggregated data. Reporting is faster. That is what you need to say always. So now I'm going to be doing one more activity now. So I wanted to go back here. Now I wanted to create what is called as, click on this table, click on this. Now instead of a this one, new column means the column will come here, but I wanted to create a new measure. So click on the measure. So measure means a formula. So I'll say sum of salary. Sum of salary. I'm writing a formula. So how do you sum the salary? You need to use a sum function. I'm going to be saying a salary. So there is a salary column. I'm going to be using. Now press enter. Close the bracket and press enter. So automatically it is going to be creating a formula. So net salary is a new column. New column means you can see the column physically here. Net salary is a new column. You can see this physically, which is going to be taking the RAM space. Okay, space is needed. That is what I told you. But sum of salary is not there in this. Okay, sum of salary is not there, which is simply a formula which is going to be, doing its activity on this data. So whenever you drag and drop this, so you can see the symbols also. This is a measure symbol. This is a new column symbol. This is existing column symbol, right? This is new column, and this is a measure. Measure does not store any data. It is going to be taking a formula. So where exactly I can use? So I'm going to be simply going now. When you click on this, it is an implicit measure. Implicit measure. Now I take the sum of salary. Now, when you go here, when you click on this, when you see, it is not applying any formula. Have you seen why? Because it is already formula being applied and the data is ready. So that is what you need to do. So it is also doing on the fly only. But again, sum operation is not applied because already you applied the sum operation. It need not apply. But when you click on this, it is going to be applying a sum operation. Clear? So this is what is called implicit measure. Okay, this is what is called implicit measure. Automatically, Power BI is performing some aggregation. This is what is called explicit measure. I need this kind of a formula. You can create. For simple sum operations, you need not create this, but you wanted to have some complex operation. For example, I have a 10, 20, I have a 30, except 30, do all the sum operations. How do you do that? So it is going to be, it is going to be taking all the data and give you the final result. But in the second, requirement, take all the data, expect the last row, remove the last row and do the summing operation on this. No? That is where you have to write your own formula. That is when you're going to be writing your own formula, except last value, I wanted to perform the sum operation. That is where implicit measures cannot be implemented. Implicit values cannot be implemented. Or I wanted to find out a ratio. Okay, what is the ratio between salary and the bonus? So if the salary is 1,000, the bonus is 300. If the salary is 5,000, the bonus is, let us say, 700. Now, what is the ratio between this and this? I wanted to, understand this. This, with the help of a simple sum, min, minus, with the help of those things, you will not be able to perform. For example, when I go here, there is no other formula I can have it. So some average, minimum, maximum, count, count, distinct, count, standard deviation, variance, median, blah, blah, blah. It is not going to be having a complex formula, right? So that is one disadvantage. When you go to implicit measure, implicit aggregations, where you don't have any complex formulas, ratios are not applied or not shown there. Okay, so that is a disadvantage of implicit measure. But when you go in for explicit measure, this is implicit. So where some operation is automatically applied. So this is, I have created on my own. Sum of salary means this is explicitly I have used it. So simple calculations means you need not go in for this. You can go in for this. Complex operations. Complex means find out ratios, find out percentages, find out any complex aggregations, means go in for explicit formulas. Clear? Now, implicit no formula, basic aggregations are defined. Explicit mean with formula, complex aggregations can be defined. Measure is not a static value. It can change. Measure will not be added in the table. Measure is displayed in visualizations. Measure is calculation of formula. Measure will not occupy space in the RAM. Measures are two types, implicit and explicit, which is not a static value. It is very, very important. What is the meaning of this? For example, I wanted to go and apply some slicer. I wanted to go and apply some slicer. I wanted to see now. I would like to have a gender column. When I drag the gender column, this is implicit. Implicit means there is some operations on the completed data. Here I have used this formula. It is also performing some operations on the entire data. But when I go and click on this, both of them will change. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? It is not a static value. It is not a single, total. So when you drag and drop, automatically the formula recalculated when you click on this. That is what is I'm trying to understand. So this one, both of them will behave, same. So it is not that it will take all the data and do one grand total bottom. It is not like that. It is going to be, again, when you click on a slicer, it is re-aggregating. It is not a static value. Either this or this, implicit or explicit. Both of them are not static values. Based on this, it's going to be working together. Now, when you remove this, it is going to be having, for example, I wanted to drag and drop a city wise, drag and drop the city and drag and drop the salary. So this is a normal salary I'm going to be taking. So it is going to be happening like this. Now it is giving you city wise salary. Now you go and apply. Data labels, make it on. Now this, this one I have taken. So I want to again take this. I wanted to again take the city. Now this time I'm going to be taking sum of salary. When you take sum of salary, now when you see this data, see when you go here, this is sum of salary. It is automatically performing some operations, right? So in this, it is automatically performing some operations. It's implicit one. So where I have used the explicit one. It is already aggregated, but this is going to be changing based on your dimension. This is the dimension value. Based on the city, these values are getting changed. So recalculated. So that is what I'm trying to tell you. Sum of salary is not a single grand total. So 10 plus 20, 30. It is not a grand total like this. So always, if you wanted to group, for example, this is a Chennai sales. This is a Chennai sales. This is a Hyderabad sales means when you drag and drop Chennai, again, it is going to be taking 10 plus 20, 30, and Hyderabad again 30. It is the sum is going to be happening based on the dimension value. Clear? If you don't drag and drop this value, the grand total is 60. But when you drag and drop a dimension, it is going to be taking Chennai value is 30, Hyderabad sales is 30. So that is how it is going to be happening. It is not a static value. Whether you drag and drop, implicit measure, explicit measure, these values are recalculated. That is what you need to understand. It is not a static value. So based on this, it's going to be happening. So whether you take normal, implicit or explicit measure, it is going to be happening. Compulsory an interview equation. So implicit versus explicit, this is what implicit measure basic aggregations, complex aggregations we can have, very, very basic level of aggregations we can use in this. This is the compulsory interview equation, new column versus new measure. New column, when we need any calculations on every row, it is going to be occupying the space. It will be added in the part of the table. Table size will increase. When we refresh, new column values are recalculated again. So name must be unique in the table level. So new measure, when we need an aggregation and works on the group of rows or all rows, percentages, ratios, complex aggregations, where we are going to be using this, it will not be added in the table shown in the visualizations only. Table size will not increase. It stores only the formula. It is not a static value. Recalculated in response to any changes to the filters, or if you add any dimensions, the aggregations again made and shown. Name must be unique across all tables model. What is the meaning? I wanted to create, for example, net salary is there. So I cannot go, net salary is there. I cannot simply go and create, net salary, there is a new column here. I can go to new table. I can also create the new salary here. So where I can go, simply click on this, create a new column. So I will say same net salary. I can also give net salary some 1,000. See, you can have net salary part of department table, net salary part of department table. So within the table, it must be unique. The column names are unique. Within the table, the column names are unique. There is no problem. So new column, when you take a new column, the column name can be unique. Column name can be unique within the table. So within the table, I have given the same column. It is going to work within the table name I have given. But whereas I have taken sum of salary. Sum of salary is available with an employee, right? I click on the department. Now I create a new salary. I write some sum of salary here. Okay. Sum of salary. I'm going to be writing here and I'm saying sum and open the bracket. I say department table, some department net salary, close and press enter. It is telling me the name sum of salary is already used for a measure on a table called employee. Choose a different. So what is the meaning? Meaning is if you create the sum of salary here, entire data model means all the tables together. This is one table, this is one table. If you give the same name here, the same name cannot be used anywhere else. That is what is the point. Clear? So name must be unique across all the complete tables. So name must be unique across all the tables or model. Name must be unique in a given table only. Compulsory in an interview question. Right? So I have told you these things also. Now, if you have any question, you can ask me now. And tomorrow we'll see DAX operators and lot of other things. Any questions you have?